Folks, I think this might be the best round of the year so far. But now it's time to bounce that pill. Straight in around the grounds, folks. Here we go. Collingwood. Wait, now what do I say? It's time for Round the Ground, spoken edition this week. Collingwood deeply disrespected Fremantle by only sending half their team to Perth. Pendlebury was supposed to go, but thought an airport was something you attach to your Mac, so he got lost. Fremantle, slighted by this insult from Collingwood, showed that the best revenge is being a bit shit and losing by a substantial margin. St Kilda versus Carlton, two of the most Marvel Stadium teams in the world, played primetime games at the MCG, which generally made me feel a bit off. If this season was about kicking to an opposing player up and down the wing, these would be the two premiership's favourites. On to Saturday afternoon at the G, however, where we saw a robbery of the highest regard. Cozzy Pickett was tripped running into goal, and the umpires did nothing about it, leading to a 35-point loss. That was the entire reason we lost. Essendon versus Sydney continued their mental terrorism on their respective fan bases, becoming shit and becoming alternately great every second week. These teams are doing their best at tricking their fan bases into turning up to horrific losses because they won the week prior. Meanwhile, Gold Coast have done what the Australian Defence Force prevented the Japanese from doing in World War II, make Darwin a fortress. The Suns, despite a late run from Bont and others, have made it 7 on the trot for the Darwin Suns. Will they win the flag? I think so. Port and Adelaide brought another classic showdown that went right down to the wire. The two best games of the weekend were arguably on Saturday night against each other, proving the AFL hates you, the fan, and your ugly fan face. Richmond and West Coast reminded me of TikTok. Everything was low quality, full of people who didn't know what they were doing, yet I could not look away. This game answered the big question, who is rebuilding the best? And the answer being Defs, not West Coast. And then Sunday afternoon in Geelong, the GWS Giants, one salary cap, took on the Geelong Cats multiple in a tussle that could have been, is the match of the round. And then the last game was, and then the best game of the round was saved for the last game of the round. A draw between Brisbane, who look like the best team, and North, who are shit, but great in Ninja Creamy Stadium. This game made me think, shit yeah, Tassie should have a team. And that's Round the Grounds. And I'm joined, as always, by father of two, on Mother's Day, no less, Thomas Zahariu. Hi, Tom.
G'day, mate. How you doing?
What did you get Elle for Mother's Day?
I got her absolutely nothing. And you know what? How bad I am. Until this very moment, I didn't question it. I didn't think about it for a second.
Because your two children, Atlas and
Arcadia,
can't get her presents.
No.
Because because they are young children and they don't have ATMs and stuff.
So maybe the greatest gift of all, which is a shout out on this pod, you know?
Should I ring her?
Yeah, give her a call.
Maybe a call from Broden will lighten up her life. So this is me calling Elle. Should I say anything?
You say Happy Mother's Day.
And there's like an in-joke I could do?
Oh, yeah. Maybe like, I don't know that well, actually.
Hey, Broden.
Elle, it's Broden Kelly here.
Yeah, hi.
Look, I've heard from a special someone that it's your Mother's Day.
Yeah, it is.
And so happy Mother's Day.
Thank you. That's very nice of you.
Did your husband get anything for your children to give to you?
Absolutely nothing.
Do you want to speak to him, or are you good?
He didn't even wake up early. Didn't even utter the words Happy Mother's Day.
Oh.
I don't know what else to say.
This is backfired.
I thought you didn't.
Backfired
I thought
dramatically.
you didn't go in for that commercial bullshit anyway, Al.
That's what they all
Yeah.
say. That's what everyone who has a birthday or Mother's Day or Father's Day says, Tom.
Oops. Happy Mother's Day, Al.
All right, thanks.
Okay, I will speak to you later. Happy Mother's Day.
Thanks so much, Broden. That's so sweet of
Oh,
you.
no, I'm being used. Oh, no, I'm in the middle of it now. Bye. Oh, I feel bad. I feel bad. Tom,
Yeah.
what's your match of the round?
I mean, I think you nailed it in Round the Grounds. I think this is one of the best rounds of footy we've ever seen in our entire lives.
There's some shit games, but
Wow, only Melbourne really didn't bring it. But
we were robbed.
as you say often, it's not only the close games that are the best games. But really, it was full of nail biters. But
Holy
I'm gonna
shit.
have to go
What's close? Define close.
less than 10 points, less than 2 goals.
Okay, so Freo Collingwood was 14.
Okay, that's a close game though. I
And
would
then
have thought
Saints Carlton was 15.
still a close game. I
And
imagine.
then Melbourne Hawthorn was 35.
Yeah, okay,
Still
you-
close
yeah,
game.
yeah,
And then we get into the run.
Yeah,
Essendon Swans, 8 points.
Yeah.
Suns Dogs, 10 points.
Yeah.
Port Adelaide, 5 points.
yeah,
Richmond Eagles, 2 points. Giants Geelong,
Geelong,
4 points.
incredible.
And then Brisbane lead at the moment in the third quarter, 12 points. So North have stayed in it.
Yeah, incredible, really.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. So it was just the first 3. But I think if you expand out your metric of a close game to 15 points,
Yeah.
then only, as you said, it's only potentially the Ds.
But even the D's, you guys were the better team for large amounts of the game of the day. I would say it was only till the fourth that you really fucked it up.
But Gunty ahead.
Yeah,
Who?
gonna be selfish and say the Suns Bulldogs, but not necessarily.
You were pretty upset. You had
I
to,
was very fired up.
because you said you were so upset that you had to do yoga.
Yeah, I was having like heart palpitations towards the end. I was so like stressed out by this game. But I think that, and I was so angry. I was so angry. You know what I'm like with the Suns? I'm like wet toast with the Suns usually. But
Wet
I was
toast.
so angry about this game. And I think that's what made it so great.
Did you hear what I said in the round the grounds? The Japanese bombed Darwin, but it was held off by the Australian Defence Force.
Yes.
And the Suns are the ADF.
Yes.
And the Bulldogs are the Japan kamikaze pilots.
Yeah, 100%.
In that they are from a different era, an empirical. They come from an empirical culture that was closed off for many, many
Yeah.
centuries. And they still perform seppuku and things.
Yeah. Didn't they think that the emperor was God?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
in that kind of Kim Jong Un kind of way,
Yeah, same
in that
thing.
they their highest order is their. I don't know enough about Japanese
to
history
speak on it,
to
yeah.
say, but all that is to say is that we held off, and the English turned their back on us in World War II. That's
they?
what. Yeah, is that they were like, we're too busy, we're fucked. The Nazis are coming.
Sure, and fair enough.
And
too.
so we were like, help, and they were like, no. And
Really?
but we at that time it shows up, but we are you. We are God save the king, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
And they went, fuck you, dogs.
Oh, wow.
And so we went, okay, we'll be friends with America. And then all the Americans came here because they had interest in defending the Pacific.
Yeah, of course.
And then and then we started this relationship with America, which is still going strong until about 2 weeks ago.
Then we said we'll become a republic.
Oh, well, no, we never said that. We had votes for it, and then they said no. But that is the Bulldogs, the Japanese empire, the Japanese empire. And you are the ADF,
Yeah.
the Australian Defence Force, with a little side hat. All that is to say, you don't lose in Darwin.
I know, and that's why I was so angry. It wasn't about losing to the doggies. I'm so chill with losing to the doggies.
Yeah.
I want Darwin to be our fortress where we never lose against.
Like the ADF.
We never lose to anybody. It's our fortress. Even Daniel Rioli spoke about it after the game. So I just didn't want to lose because that would make us beatable up there. But
Yes.
apparently, after the Suns, the doggies have played the most games up there.
Really?
Yeah, because they used to play in Darwin before the Suns.
Was
took over.
anyone playing up there
Surely a bunch, right?
like
But
a Bont kind of situation?
Yeah, surely a bunch of them, right? And they would have just known. They would know how to play up there, like the coaches and all that sort of stuff.
That's
right?
true.
So I think that was good. But yeah, as you said in the chat, they're the informed team of the competition. We managed to beat them in Darwin, so it was just very stressful.
Have the Suns turned a corner? Do you know what I mean by that? And that doesn't mean they're going to win the flag,
Yeah.
but have they turned a corner?
I mean, I'm still lower on them than most. Would you like me to tell you why?
Please.
I think that we're still having these games where we're relying on talent. And I think fans of footy will know what I mean, where we're bombing it into 50, where the structure seems to go out the window. And I love that we're still sometimes winning.
Yeah.
But against like Richmond, where we lost, we looked like we had no structure, no tactics. We're just going off talent. And sometimes talent's not enough, you know?
Well, I don't know what that's like.
I would love to have less talent, more
so
structure,
talented.
good, more good tactics. You know what I mean?
I think they've turned a corner in that you've won 2 games this year, which you've never won in any other year. Does that make sense?
As in, like, which ones do you mean? The dog
Adelaide and this one.
Yeah.
You don't win these games, right?
Yeah.
So these are you're 2 games up on where you usually are already.
Yes, I agree with that. But also, we're so strong in the last quarter. Like when we came home against North, we come home against Richmond. We come home so when we let them come home, I was like, oh no, that's our secret weapon. Anyway, all of this is to say that I think we're going to go well. Doggies did fantastic to become that close.
All of this to say, dogs are good.
Yes, dogs are really good. Suns are not better, but Suns are really good too, perhaps.
Thank you. Ask me what my match of the round is.
What was your match of the round? I can't guess, actually.
I'll tell you. GWS last week lost their mojo. Their mojo was gone. Devoid, not devout. Yeah, they never... Is that devout?
No, devout is when you pray.
Hey, there's a new pope.
Yeah.
American from Chicago. Anyway, GWS versus the Cats I think, was the match of the round in that Geelong have come off beating maybe the informed team in Collingwood last week. They have been playing real shit.
Yep.
They won against them in a place where no one wins.
Yeah.
Except for them. They've won like 5 or 6 in a row now.
Coming into this game, Cats hadn't lost a GMHBA 4 times in a row, and GWS hadn't lost 4 times in a row as well.
So that's that's 5 in a row for them.
So now they're 5, but they were equal before this.
Sweet. And Jesse Hogan kicked 7 goals, 1. Stengel 2 goals, 4, by the way. What's going on there?
Incredible.
Stringer got subbed out. Now, I think there's something to this.
Yeah, I want to talk to this.
Yeah, you got a hammy. I think Stringer is a very good player, but his mojo was off. His mojo, even though he was playing so well in the first quarter and they ran ahead when he was playing, he had the juju was off. And I think him coming out brought back classic Hogan. Also, the same old people in the middle, fucking goddamn Tom Green was back, Whitfield, Callahan. They just dominated. And I just thought it was sick. Geelong were very upset to lose that. Maybe they looked a little bit off, I don't know. But it's still, you know the problem for Geelong, right? Is it's still Dangerfield and Cameron who are the ones who are the big difference makers.
Sure.
Like they go to Lachie Neale and Lachie Neale was fantastic at points in this game. Bailey Smith, 35 disposals again.
So who do you mean? Not Lachie Neale, you mean...
Lachie Neale was, not Lachie Neale. Yeah, Neale.
Yeah.
The Neale guy. The
Neale
one who's
guy.
then... Shannon Neale is he was good, like the one they're kicking to.
Sure.
But then they were playing like Cameron up on the wing and stuff, and like maybe it would have been better if maybe they had to play him up or whatever.
Max Home first game back from that concussion, so we would have thought that would have helped a little.
He had 30 or something, I think. He was really across.
Yeah, he was really, really good. But I just want to ask you, so are you benching? Are you not playing?
Stringer is
going forward.
Stringer, I think, is worth going and saying you're shit for a while because I think he's kicked 6 goals, 12 for the year. Yeah. He's going to have a little stint out, and it'll be interesting to see in this little stint if they play better without him. But I would say they look better without him, but they've got to evolve. And obviously that team's better if it's an informed gun Stringer. But if he's flaky Essendon Stringer, not in a contract year, then no, I would take him out.
Yeah.
Cost you nothing. Why wouldn't you just put him out?
I think that's interesting. That'll be a good watch and see because I still think he's got so much talent that you just play him and you find his goal kicking form. But if he's ruining the mojo of the team,
that's my vibes.
Then he's got to go.
He's in mojo mudraker.
He's a mojo ruler.
Give me a sting.
Anytime, any place, 11 venues, free smoke wherever you want it.
All right, Tom. Now some have called the music man.
They have said that.
I want to bring you some ideas before you play what you've made.
Great.
Okay, right?
Shall I take notes?
Well, yes. There's a few things here. Okay. Can I take the ox for a sec? There's a few things. I'm going to call this segment, Is This Anything? And you can tell me if it's anything, okay?
Okay, great.
All right. This is the first one. Is there anything in a sting built around this?
Jizz.
So that's Darcy Cameron saying... Jizz.
We need more context. Is there a lead up? One word's not enough to make a song around.
It's just he had a friend called Jizz.
Okay. But does he say...
He was shouting out his friend Jizz.
Does he say, shout out to my mate Jizz?
Let me check.
Because if that's the
just said
case,
jizz.
then there's something in that for sure.
Okay, well, I'll put that on the maybe pile.
Yeah.
The next one I wanted to explore was this one. Is there anything in this? This is from Jared Waitley.
Osama bin Laden.
So...
I mean...
He said that on 360.
Sure.
I don't know why. I was watching it and I said, Paddy, at 21 minutes into AFL 360, Jared Waitley just said...
Osama bin Laden.
Paddy, can you tell me why? Do you remember why?
I think he was talking about the umpire that was sanctioned for going to a costume party dressed like he was.
Osama bin Laden.
So, issues.
Now, I was sitting in my lounge room. And so there's that. Is there anything in that?
I'm not sure. I need the build up. Usually with Stings we get a little bit of, a lead up, a little bit of commentary, but we could do something perhaps.
I think Osama bin Laden is up there with maybe Jared Waitley saying Osama bin Laden. I think there's legs.
Okay.
Now here's the one I'm definite there's legs in.
Yeah.
I think this is one to put in the pile. But let's see what this came up on Thursday night.
Talk about save the game. Have a look at this. Oh, yeah. This is normal for me. This is everyday stuff for me. I'm Patrick Voss, and I've got a big chest.
Now that we can use for sure.
Let me tell you about I'm Patrick Voss and I've got a big chest.
This is everyday stuff for me. I'm Patrick Voss, and I've got a big chest.
I didn't have the highest opinion of Brian Taylor.
What?
I thought maybe his commentary was a bit shit at points, right? This fragment of audio has pushed him up in my books maybe 9,000 spots. I think that's the best thing I've ever heard.
I mean, that's what he's great for. This is the first time I've heard him all year.
I'm Patrick Voss, and I've got a big chest. That feels like something I would say in a thing.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
What are the current Freo Stings? I don't know if we even have one in the rotation. We don't have stuff.
We've got the one about Ballantyne taking on Jared Rivers.
Yeah, but we haven't got
which
a
is
cut
also
up,
a Brian Taylor one.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm Patrick Voss and I've got a big chest, I think. Tell us if you think Freo fans, the footy with Broden@gmail.com. I believe that is the one. Who is Patrick Voss, by the way? I've never heard of that man.
Oh, yeah, he's like a very young player who's good.
He's got a big chest, I hear.
Yeah, I think he's good.
This is everyday stuff for me. It really has pushed him up 9,000 spots. Because that's funny. That's genuinely funny to me.
Lots of stuff he says is super funny. All his things are really great and
Sometimes-
funny. That's what he's good for.
Sometimes it feels like his things aren't deliberate, though. It's just a man just roaming through the earth, saying shit. But that was funny, really funny. It made me happy. All right, that's my 3 Is It Anythings.
Great.
That's food for thought. All right.
Sure.
Now, what have you prepared?
Now, obviously,
Notice you're using QLab, Tom.
Yeah.
I've been on tour with QLab. If you have any questions about that, you just come see me.
No worries, mate.
If you use a decimator to put that onto a screen, you'll need to get QLab Pro.
I do have QLab Pro, actually.
You can rent QLab Pro.
This is the computer I used to take Auntie Donna on tour. So this has all the gizmos and gadgets.
QLab Pro is $1,000 a year.
Yeah, it's fucking expensive, isn't it?
Or maybe it's the $1,000 to own it. I don't know.
No, I think it's very expensive. As I was saying, I can't really do songs out of just one one word, syllables. It doesn't really work out for me.
What about jizz, 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 jizz?
That would work, actually. That's some good ideas. So here's one I threw together with that in mind.
You can't take your notes up, Tom.
So this is
that
giving
goes
you,
incredibly hard.
This is you giving you hope to your little jizz Osama bin Laden syllables. We could just take that and put it into this if you wanted.
It's funny. The words are funny because they have no place in 2025 AFL coverage.
Yeah.
And yet in 1 year, Osama bin Laden and 9/11 have been mentioned in an AFL year in 2025. 9/11 happened 24 years ago.
This
Tom.
was just a scoreline though, yeah?
Give me that one more time. No, this is about 9/11. I believe it was on his podcast.
Right.
I think we danced to this.
9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11, 9/11,
Oh.
9/11, 9/11, 9/11,
The drop. Talk me through the drop and why you've gone double drop. Is it to upset me? Is it to trick me?
No, I just copied that Fred again guy.
Was that what Fred again does?
You know, he goes, "Leave me alone." You know how he goes, "Leave me no, he goes, "Everybody, everybody, everybody,
Oh, yeah.
everybody,
Yeah,
everybody,
maybe.
everybody, everybody, leave me alone." I just copied him. This thing is completely plagiarized. But it's 9/11.
It's called 9/11 again.
Same tempo and everything, you know?
Well, that's fantastic, Tom.
Thank
so
you.
you're going to put that into rotation?
Yeah.
Imagine someone.
No, that was less. This is more of a lull than a sting, but we could make it a sting.
I think it's a sting.
Okay.
I think.
Right,
I like
that
the idea of
sting.
someone going, "I'll give this show a crack." I've heard that it's an alternative place for different voices in the AFL.
Yeah.
It's different, and then they're listening for 10 minutes, and then
Hit that sting. 9/11. 9/11.
yeah, do it. Oh wow, that's really interesting how they talked about the footy in that first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Humorous tone.
9/11, 9/11, 9/11,
God.
9/11, 9/11, 9/11,
Double.
9/11, 9/11, 9/11,
Yes.
9/11.
It's funny because I listen to this podcast when I'm walking my dog in a nice park.
And do you giggle about it?
I go, well, I always ask you to play it back like 4 times, and you're like, that's a lot to hear the same music, but I just want to hear it again, and I like it. All right, let's talk about the next. That's great, Tom. I think
Thanks,
that
mate.
goes into rotation,
Love it.
and then the other ones are up for discussion. We'll hear what the fans say. My next question is, Tom, was Cozzy tripped?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Cost you the game.
Yes, because from that point, had he not been tripped in the goal square, we would have gone on to kick the next 9 goals.
You know, there was quite, we don't umpire bash on this show, but there was quite a lot of fucking...
Dodgies.
Yeah, on this one. The deliberate out of bounds as well. You remember
Well,
that
I'm a Melbourne fan, so I was just going to be like, I thought I didn't enjoy the game.
Yep.
But also we just stopped playing in the last quarter. And
Yeah.
we're doing a secret little rebuild, but that's okay.
Yeah, you were smashing the inside 50s until the last as well. I think it was like you were up by 20 inside 50s.
What
until
your
the last.
mate Brendan Sanderson said was that when we're pretty good on clearance and stuff, but when we lose clearance, we concede. Did you hear him say that?
No, I didn't, but that echoes exactly my understanding of this game 100%.
Here's my question to you. Where are Hawthorn at?
Well, I have the ladder right here, Broden. They're in
No.
the third.
But I mean,
third.
they're third?
Yes, look at me with my ladder.
Jesus. Because I was saying that metaphorically, like, where are they? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, I think.
but
yeah.
if they're third and they've been a bit shit,
They've been up and down, I would say, and it's a good time of year to be up and down, Broden, is what I would say. I think, if they can make the 8, they're going to do some damage in finals, and at this point, they're definitely going to make the 8.
they're fucking third. That's such a profoundly good position to be in.
Yeah, because no one's dominated this year except for perhaps Brisbane, but even, they've only lost 1 game. But a lot of people are 5-4, 4-5. Like, a lot of teams have been around the evens.
Who do you want to be? Which team do you want to be right now?
Melbourne or Hawthorn?
Why?
Hawthorn.
No. No, I don't know. In the league,
Yeah.
round 9,
Yeah.
feeling fine round 9, which
Yeah.
I haven't said yet, feeling fine round 9.
Oh, of course.
Which team are you like, we are cherry ripe for a grand final?
I mean, anyone that's... let's take Brisbane out of it.
Why?
Because Brisbane they've only lost 1 game.
Do you know who they get back? Do you know who's played a VFL game or 2?
Yeah, Kitty Coleman.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they've got a few others out that how do you put these people in?
Yeah, is it Lincoln McCarthy who's due back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom Duday.
Duday?
Yeah,
Because he did
fantastic.
Jesus,
Adelaide.
it's
He hasn't
no.
played a game from yet.
Yeah.
I disagree with this shit. And that young guy that talked to Melbourne's re-signed with him.
I talked to Melbourne. I'm
The
sure who that
young
is.
pick who Brad Johnson said the other day was the number 1 pick from the group. Of
Logan Morris.
Logan Morris. Yeah. Lincoln Morris.
Lincoln Morris. Yeah, I love footy.
No, I think take Brisbane out of it and it becomes an interesting conversation.
Because you just think it's Brisbane by a country mile. Because
I think it would
they
be,
lost to Collingwood at the Gabba.
I think it would be rude not to say Brisbane at this point. But if you take them out of it, then it's interesting. Do you get what I'm saying?
And also, it's probably good to take Brisbane out of it because as we sit here,
Yeah.
at halftime in this game,
Yeah.
they're only up by 9 points.
Yeah, 3/4 time coming into the fourth right now.
They they'll win this by.
Well, it's in Tassie, so who the fuck knows? And you'll find out in half an hour if you keep listening
I'll
to this pod.
tell you that they win by 47 points.
Wow. That's
As
huge.
Charlie Cameron goes into an open goal, and this is the whole
sprays
thing.
it.
Okay, so we go, right.
So I think then if you take out Brisbane, it becomes interesting because you could make an argument for Hawthorn, Adelaide, Doggies, Cats, Giants.
You didn't say Collingwood?
No, I didn't want to be Collingwood. No.
Why not?
Because even if they win one this year, I think that's sick. But I just think the drop-off is coming at some point. Like, the list profile is built for a fucking huge drop-off, I think. Unless they keep topping up with incredible free agents. But how are you going to replace Pendlebury, Sidebottom, Myercheck? Like, they have so many older players.
Collingwood always do. You just go and get people from every other club.
Yeah, and potentially they might be able to, but it feels like they won't have the capital to do that. You know what I mean?
Lockie Schultz was really interesting. He's going to tackle and got knocked out. I reckon that's the worst knockout I've seen since the AFL's become more protective of heads.
Yeah,
that was he did the old arm in the air, just sort of held in the air thing. You know, that concussion thing.
Yeah, and they get up and I'm playing on and then fall over flat on your face thing as well.
Yeah, it was
really
brutal.
Scary. Yeah.
That was really scary.
Yeah.
But I think Collingwood are in very good position, considering they went over to Freo with no players.
Yeah.
And still just won.
No, don't get me wrong. If we're just talking about this year isolated, then yeah, Collingwood are up there as the team to beat along with Brisbane. I mean more positionally for the next 10 years.
Career-wise. And my next question is, are Freo just completely and utterly cooked?
I don't know. I'm the jury's out on Freo, and Paddy will disagree with this, so let's not throw to him. But I saw a thing, one of our fans left a comment saying, you know, they're the youngest team that's played this year and they're the least games played this year. And
Tell me about this.
Well, that can often be skewed, right? Because by a multitude of things.
Yeah, if you play a 4-year-old, then yeah, it's going to skew.
And I think you chuck Fife back in and
if you play the world's oldest man.
Yeah, then it gets skewed upwards a lot. But I think there's no denying that, at least in my mind, and I reckon a lot of other people's minds, they're a lot younger than I realise. That's all I would say. I'm not saying they are the youngest team out there or the least inexperienced team. But if you think just off the top of their head, like, yeah, they've debuted a lot of guys this year. Murphy, Erasmus, like they're playing a lot of young guys.
Nathan Fife.
Yeah, well, so if Fife comes back in, then their age probably skews higher. So I think maybe I've been a little harsh on them, and we're giving so much patience to West Coast, so much patience to North. I'm thinking maybe we do need to be a little more patient, but I think they need to trade Darcy or Luke Jackson. Like, it's just outrageous at this point.
You think the experiment is over?
Luke Jackson looks so good as a midfield ruckman, and I was just like, how can you not play him in that position every week?
Yeah.
And Darcy's just not a forward, I don't think.
Jeezy.
That's my 2 cents. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong.
All right, give me a sting.
Collingwood have closed like the Grim Reaper.
Marnie said this in a TikTok, which is where the young people are, is why is there 2 Saturday games up against each other, and why do we continue to not showcase the Showdown? I believe I had this conversation with you last year.
Right.
Where the best game of the, like, it's weird. I think the AFL, or maybe the stats just prove this, that people outside of South Australia don't watch the Showdown.
Okay.
But I would, and also it's not prime, it's not going on Channel 7 anyway.
Yeah.
Just give it the limelight. I think everyone will watch that game.
So what would you do? Would you ideally not have any clashes at all? So would you move Gold Coast to Friday? Oh, no, I don't know. Is there any way of not having any clashes at all?
Jesus. No.
I'm not sure that there is, unless you play like a 10:30 on Saturday game. But I liked at least it was staggered, because I watched the Suns game and then I got to flick over to the Showdown and watch the last quarter, and I enjoyed that immensely.
Maybe
but
just not 2 great games.
Yeah.
Because Suns versus Dogs is this is an exaggeration, but a premiership preview potentially, or at least a finals preview. And then Crows versus Adelaide is crazy because they're the same team. So Power versus Crows is always fantastic, and turned out. I mean, the margin actually, I think, complemented this game a little bit because Port ran home quick at the end. But
they put the ice on too early, don't you think?
Crows
tried to slow it down too early. I thought, like, maybe 10 minutes to go instead of 5 minutes to go. They tried to ice it. But I think, maybe the only option looking at it, because it was such a good round, was you put maybe Hawthorn and Melbourne up against The Showdown.
Yeah, that's what I do. But then you can't put the D's at night. No one's going to that.
Yeah. But no, maybe 40,000 go to that at night on a Saturday night. Maybe. I don't know.
I got 2 questions for you, and you'll know where they're coming.
Yep.
Firstly, Adelaide, are they good?
Yes, I think so.
Are they finals good?
I think so, yeah. We need to see a little more of them playing away from home because they definitely have been poor away from home, but they almost beat Gold Coast and Gold Coast. So there's evidence there that they can win away from home, but just a little bit more, 3 or 4 more games and we'll know.
I think you'll love these, what I'm about to read out.
Yeah, okay.
3 goals Fogarty.
Yeah.
3 goals Thilthorpe.
Yeah.
2 goals to Keys.
Yeah.
2 goals Rochelle.
Yeah.
2 goals Rankin.
How good's
like that is maybe the best forward line in the league, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when you, without question, without notice, it feels like it must be. And I feel like we've been saying this for a while as well.
Who's got a better forward line at the moment?
I mean, we'd have to go through it, wouldn't we? But I think, like, potentially Giants when Jones
Hogan,
is fit.
Stringer.
Stringer, Jones.
Nah, still not better, I don't think.
And Brent Daniels as well. And Cadman. Yeah, like I feel like that's getting close.
Yeah.
I think Collingwood, the way they've been playing, I could make an argument. Like Myercheck, Jamie Elliott, Schultz, and who's the other guy who did injured his leg?
McStay.
Yeah, they're getting close.
I'm offended that you said Collingwood is a forward line. I think that's...
But don't you think like they're just getting it done every week? Like they're just finding a way to get goals.
But like I feel like Crow's strongest thing is their forward line. Like,
I agree. I think
it's better than their midfield. It's better than their back line.
Oh, 100%. It's been well documented how I'd never heard of one of their defenders.
Say a defender from every team. Go on.
Well, Mark Keane played a fantastic game.
Yeah, now you know for sure.
Worrell.
Now, Worrell.
Have you heard of Worrell?
You love Worrell.
Because he's very good.
Now, sorry, Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
Now you are the number 1 ticket holder. Are they good?
You know, like when it's that thing of like the harder it itches, the harder it scratches. Do you know what I mean?
What?
You know, like the more it itches, the harder you scratch.
The more it itches. Have you made that saying up?
Yeah. There'd be a parable saying to it going around, but you get what I'm saying.
A parable?
Yeah, there'd be a parable saying to the more it itches, the more it scratches. But what I'm saying
I'm going to Google it. The more it itches, the more
it scratches?
The more you scratch, the more it itches.
Yes, that's what I mean. Is that what you mean? Yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not this Port defender. I just think you're way too down on them. So whenever you're down on them, I defend them more. You know what I mean? I don't think they're that good, but I don't think they're as bad as you think they are.
I'm going to read you and it's funny you say that, Tom, because I'm going to read you an article from webmd.com.
Okay.
Why scratching feels so good, in brackets, but is so bad.
Yeah.
It can make you feel better in that moment, but 1 in 5 people say scratching makes them itch somewhere else on their body.
All right.
Sometimes the pain from scratching makes your body release the pain-fighting chemical serotonin. It can make the itch feel even itchier. That's why the more you scratch, the more you itch. Now...
Do you get the parable with me, you and Port Adelaide?
No, I got more on the parable. So, yeah, the more that I say Port is shit, the more you're like, no, they're great.
They're not that bad, is what I'm saying. I genuinely thought they could win this, and you were like, no hope. And I think they showed, yes, they absolutely can. I still think Port can make finals, and that might seem outrageous, but I think they can. I think the list is good enough.
I'm putting them in my big list of can't make the finals. And I'm putting them with Swannies.
Yeah.
Demons.
Swannies, I'm off. Yep, Demons, I'm off.
Carlton.
Oh, Carlton, I still give a little.
They're my 4 at the moment. And that leads me to my next question.
Yep.
Bombers. Let's talk about Bombers Swans. Give me a sting.
The scenes at the Adelaide Oval.
Bombers Swans, are they good? Bombers, are they good?
No, they were in second on the ladder this time last year. They're
Tom?
not good.
Tom?
Yep. They have no players.
Tom?
Goldie was halfway into the retirement, mate.
Tom? They beat a grand finalist, Tom.
Nah, they're no good, Braden. You know how desperate they are for a ruck. They wanted to go into the mid-season draft and get a ruck, but then the ruck they've been targeting who plays for Coburg got injured, and so now they can't get the best ruck. So now they're like, fuck, what are we going to do?
What's this? Where did you hear this?
Brent Sanderson today, I think. Was it Sando?
Oh, you loved a bit of crunch time.
No, I just drove around for Mother's Day a little bit today, so I had to listen. But yeah, they were going after this guy, Keogh, I think, or Cox. Keogh from Coburg.
That's our local team.
Yeah.
The Coburg Lions are literally a metre from here.
Yeah.
And they're going really well. They're in the VFL. They're pumped, and usually
They have the best ruck in the country.
poor old Coburg Lions are down the bottom usually with the Frankston Sharks and the Bright Bushrangers and the fucking Northland kleptos.
Yeah.
But at the moment,
They're killing it.
does the VFL person want to give us a VFL report? Who's winning in the VFL? I know you do VAFA, but who's doing well in the VFL at the moment?
I haven't done a VFL game in a couple of weeks, but I think the Giants are dusting everyone by like 14, 15 goals, the Giants twos.
If you don't know Paddy, he commentates football. So Northern Bull Ants, surprise, haven't won a game yet. Do you know about the Northern Bull Ants?
Yeah.
They don't win shit.
They're the feeder team to Essendon.
They're the feeder team to no one
Oh,
anymore.
right. I thought Essendon, they had a thing with Essendon.
Sydney Swans are second last. The Zebras are bad. Port Melbourne are bad. Port Melbourne used to be the kingmakers.
Yeah.
And now GWS, as you're right, are game clear. Fucking hell.
Percentage of 189.
Yeah. I thought Coburg Lions were doing much better. They're actually 15th.
Yeah, right.
That's good. That's
For a
considering
team-
where they've been the last couple of years.
And we'll talk about it with Cooper in a few weeks. But playing in the VFL earns you less than going out to the country and playing with crazy people.
Yeah, correct. I've heard that.
But no, Essendon. What do we say about Essendon?
Yeah, so I don't think they're good, and I think they have major injury issues that they need to work out. I still think they're very much carried by Zach Merritt. I think it's cool that they can get it together and win games, which is really cool.
Here's a question. Is Zach Merritt doing a Brownlow year? Is he a year of Brownlow contention?
I think so, but I feel like he's always been in the discussion. I think for like 5 years now, he might have been in the discussion, but he didn't actually have his best game on the weekend, I don't think.
Just keep in mind, they beat the Crows, right?
Yeah.
They beat Port, who you think of who are the itchy team.
I think of the premiership favourites, apparently.
They beat the D's.
Yeah.
Beat West Coast, no biggie. They lost to them. They lost to Pies. They beat North.
Just.
So they got 5 wins already.
Yeah.
They got 6 wins.
Yeah.
Now they go on to Dogs.
Yeah.
They
Loss.
got Richmond. Richmond they'll win.
Is that special game, though?
MCG.
Is that
Dreamtime.
Dreamtime? Because that could be up in the air.
They got Lions. They got Carlton, which is winnable. They've got Cats. I don't know. Fremantle, which is winnable because it's at Optus. I don't. It's just look. There's some they play Richmond twice.
Yeah.
They've got some interesting games.
I think they've exceeded expectations. I'm not that down on them, but I had them in the bottom 4 this year, and I don't think they'll make finals. But hey, a lot of great signs, and guys like Zach Reid, it's worth the year just for Zach Reid and how good he's been. Like he's genuinely he must be like in the top 20 defenders in the league now after only playing like 6 games. He's been incredible.
And that guy didn't break his foot or ankle.
Yeah,
that's the winning story of the year.
Yeah, 100%.
But I think Brad Scott's actually doing quite a good job, to be honest.
Yeah,
Like when a place that's just had misery and reactionary, like kind of Tottenham Hotspur vibes of just react, fire, panic, draft, trade, weird things. It does feel like there's legitimate stability going on at the moment.
Yeah, I think they're definitely exceeding my expectations at this point. I would have expected them to win this many games for the year. Not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think they're doing really
They
well.
have not gone backwards. They're probably going to do something similar to last year, if not play in the finals.
Yeah. If they play in the finals, that'd be incredible. But
And maybe I'm Marnie biased, but they were really up and about last year. And they don't feel like they are this year. They're just really quiet. They're really like, hey, everything's okay. We suck.
getting it done.
Remember we suck.
Yeah.
Like, in that episode of The Simpsons where there's the mafia and then the Yakuza shop and there's that one guy who's standing there and he's not doing anything.
Yeah.
But he's going to do something good. They're playing it really, really quiet is all I mean to say.
Yeah. It's been super helpful having 2 Meter Peter back as well. He wasn't as good again this weekend, but the previous couple of weeks he's been incredible.
Were you sad when he left?
A really interesting question, bro, and I think about this often.
Because I remember when he was drafted, I was like, fuck, this guy was sick. And I've not thought about him again.
So he didn't get a game for the Suns the entire last year. He played VFL the entire last year, Broden.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can be sad about a person who can't get a game leaving.
No.
But as soon as he started getting games, I was like, is this some Stuart Jew fuck up? Like, how has he gone from not getting a game with us, who are losing, to going to Essendon and being a star? Like, it makes no sense.
A mindset change.
But he was destroying it in the VFL. It wasn't like he was bad.
Maybe he was like, holy shit, moving to Essendon, there's a DFO, which if you're on the freeway, there's a fucking line of bogans who line up and ruin the one laneway coming back from the airport. They love their DFOs so much here. There's no trendy people here. There's just a general vibe of of Essendon, and he's like, this brings me to life. You know that vibe of Essendon? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Well, I haven't really been there much, but I know that road you're talking about.
Essendon's a magical place in that there's nice restaurants, there's nice food, but no one is cool. There's trendy cafes, there's there's good food, but no one is cool. And I think Essendon people will know this. The Essendon area is it's just the DFO and nice, and it's just strange, man. Like no one has aspirations of being cool. Does that make sense?
Sure.
I can't use the words I want to use.
I haven't been there enough, but you seem to be an expert.
After this, you and I are going to drive to Essendon, which is like a metre from here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you the spirit of Essendon.
Yeah, great. Can't wait.
Now, give me a sting.
The Bombers are coming hard. They're coming very hard.
Tom, I want to take you through Spud's ride.
Yep. Tell me all about it.
And Paddy as well, I want to tell you about it. So they did a ride. Mm-hmm. And so I go down, they're like, can you ride around the G for an hour?
Yep.
For mental health. And I said, hell yeah. And they said, bring a mate. And so I thought Marnie will want to do it. I brought Marnie down. I show up to this and it's just the St Kilda team, and I'd not met the St Kilda team before. And they were cool. I met the social media manager for Saints, who I'm going to have on because he's a nice counterpoint to Jacob Gaynor, and I want to have more conversations because he said very interesting things about
social media,
which social media, teams are good and what's good to do and what work. Just fascinating stuff.
Yeah, great.
And then they're all cool. They gave me free pizza, and then there was pressure to go on a tandem bike.
Yes.
They're like, everyone to this point has gone on a tandem bike.
From pressure from Marnie or from the St Kilda team?
There was just a vibe of everyone's gone on a tandem bike.
Right, so you got to do this.
And I was like, but what if we fall off and I kill Marnie?
Yeah.
Like, what if I'm waving and I just tip the weight and we smash
her.
into gate 3 and I...
Because you're much bigger than her, so you could crush her very easily.
Yeah, but we got up and I just kept the momentum going and didn't let go.
Yeah.
And it was a vibe. The Offspring were playing at Rod Laver, and you could see all these boys from Bacchus Marsh walking to the MCG to see Offspring. I fucking love Offspring.
Yeah, fun.
Smells like, get a pretty fly for a white guy.
Yeah.
And then there was 2 speed humps that started to hurt my ass.
Oh, right.
But it was good. It was a lovely thing to do. There was one guy running around who kept saying, bounce that pill. Like he was he was doing his laps. And the first time was funny. And then the second one, bounce that pill. And then he was awkward and we were awkward. Like, yeah, bounce the pill.
And was it easy to do the hour or was it quite difficult?
It was, like you would know this. What's the challenge of being on a treadmill for an hour?
Yeah, boredom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the boredom mixed with a little bit of uncomfortability.
Sure, yeah.
My ass was so hurt.
Yeah.
It hurt my ass so much.
Yeah.
So I did it for an hour and there was 2 speed bumps that were hurting my ass. But we did it.
Yeah, fantastic.
And that was lovely.
Well
and then I thought I wanted to pick out particularly before the game for that Friday night, Tom Boyd, who I haven't thought about much, really, since he stopped playing. My memory of Tom Boyd is GWS, never played. Then they took Ryan Griffith. Griffin. And so Bulldogs went, fuck, we're going to offer him $3 billion purely out of emotional revenge. And then it worked out because he was an important player in their premiership and then retired early and has battled his own mental health issues. He got up in the middle of the MCG with 60, 70,000 people there and just spoke incredibly well. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I did. I was getting really emotional. I couldn't handle it, but I watched it.
It was like, he was on another level how well he spoke. It really I was like, I have to talk about this.
Yeah, 100%. No, he's great. It must be all the podcasting he's doing because he does the Bulldogs podcast.
With Danny McGinley.
Yeah, with Danny McGinley.
He's just a person who talks incredibly well.
Yeah, he's got a lot. Yeah, I've listened to a podcast with him on another show where he spoke about his the money and mental health and stuff, and he spoke incredibly well. A very, very intelligent person, clearly. I mean, I think it takes great intelligence to walk away from the game when you're at that age and at the pinnacle as well, and to go, no, I actually need to walk away.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. It's a really good point. But I was just blown away by that. Now the game.
Yeah.
This game, as I said in their intro, was 2 different teams going, I'm going to pretend I play for Carlton, I'm going to pretend I go for St Kilda. And everyone on St Kilda going, we're going to pretend we go for Carlton.
Yeah.
Because they just kept kicking it at the same person over and over.
Didn't they?
But, Saints were pretty good, Carlton were better.
Yeah, I watched the entire game and I didn't have much to say from it either. To be honest, I barely remember it.
It was like a fun game to watch. A lot of people that I was talking to online in the group chats were saying this is fucking shit. But I actually really I preferred it more to I found Fremantle far more frustrating to watch.
Yeah, right.
Than it was for these two teams who were kind of on their way to doing something good, but it just wasn't working out, and then Carlton got ahead at the end. But the main thing to say is Charlie Curnow is back. He looks so fucking good.
Sure.
And Harry Mackay, again, sealed it again.
Yeah, and in the mental health round as well.
Yeah.
Recently, that was my one highlight I do remember is, Harry Mackay sealing it. How good's that?
Yeah, it was sick. Congratulations to them. I gave them their flowers, Tom. That's what we say, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what we say.
Now, the other game today, which was awesome. Mm-hmm. Would you have said at the start of the year that Richmond would have won 3 by round 9? So they're going at 33%.
I mean, maybe we fell for like the media bullshit of they won't win a game this year. It's going to be the worst year ever. But I feel like when you say that about the team, they usually sneak a bunch, right? But 3 out of in round 9 is above for sure.
Insane. And one's the Suns who are like top 8.
Yeah.
One's Carlton, who are pretty good, and one is West Coast, who are the worst team in the last few years. Yeah, ever. But they almost Harley Reid turned it on for a quarter. I'll bring in resident Richmond fan Paddy. Harley was good, wasn't he?
He was good. There was a difficulty I had with this game, which was the VFLW game I was commentating.
Bad luck, said the duck. No, but they were very good, and I'll say West Coast just didn't have the. It was fucking horrible, to be honest. It was two teams. I'm going, fuck. Richmond, West Coast needed to get it down the other end and just couldn't.
Yeah.
Just couldn't. They just kept kicking it to the same people over. It was kind of horrible.
Yeah.
But it was kind of good as well. It was so close, and Richmond fans were right up and about now and about it. But it was brutal. Did you watch any of this?
Yeah, I watched. I was listening to a bunch on the radio, and then I watched a bit. The highlight for me was when Harley Reid got paid that running too far. That was crazy.
That was bullshit.
That was crazy because it was so exciting as well. This is where I'm like, put the whistle away, ump. I don't care if technically he ran too far. That could have won the game. He looked like he was going to coast into goal.
Yeah, that kind of killed it. But then also, I don't know if it was the same mullet men, but a lot of West Coast mullet men kept getting holding the ball. Yeah. There was a key moment where
Tom Gross
tackled.
Oh no, Tom Brown.
Tom Brown tackled Tom Gross.
So Tom Brown came back from retirement and tackled journalist retirement, and won them the game in this very clutch moment.
Tom Gross, famous from this podcast for being known as Tom Gross.
Tom Gross.
We've spoken at length about.
Was he tackled?
Tom
He
Gross,
was tackled,
yeah.
That was
And
gross.
he has a mullet, so he might have been tackled a few times.
He looks like he's in year 9.
Yeah.
And when he got up, he looked like he was going to cry because he was running into open goal and got tackled. And he looks like, oh no.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for that
kid's
boy.
18, I think.
Yeah,
first year player.
Yeah. So, he'll be better for it.
He probably doesn't even have an RSA
Yeah, probably not.
to work as a responsible.
He might not even have a
alcoholic.
TFN. This could have been his first job, and he hasn't got a TFN yet.
He may not even have an ABN to work as a sole trader.
Probably not. I wouldn't say he'd have any need of one, to be honest.
Yeah. No, yeah. I don't think you need to be a sole trader.
No.
So congratulations, Richmond. You're absolutely dominating in a year. As far as Richmond's ceiling goes, you're absolutely dominating. And their rebuild is fucking going great. How do Richmond fans feel about Uze is my question.
Yeah, I mean, surely they must be stoked, yeah? Paddy, what do you think?
I think there was a lot of feeling that he could be the coach before the coach. You sort of come in after Dimmer, you sort of get 3 years where you have to do the shit work, and then someone else gets to have fun with the team once they're good.
So do you like him now?
So I think the feeling's changed. I think he's embraced being the rebuilding coach, and I think the players have embraced him. It feels like they're all growing together, which is nice. It's quite wholesome.
I think he's a good coach.
Yeah, he seems it.
And when you look at the other coach, who could have been your coach, McQualter, on the other side, it's not going well for him. But that's not his fault. The problem with that team is that most of them work at Michelle's Patisserie Northland, or it looked like they could.
The other thing is, from my end, and I said this to Max the other day, and he shut me down hard. I feel like he plays very defensively. Uze at the moment.
Well, you got it.
He floods the back line and all that sort of stuff, which is what you do. It's maybe not the best footy, but
It's so funny Tom Lynch being in this team, which is like a gun, all-Australian key forward. In this, and he's relatively 1,000 years old, just playing full forward in this shit team.
And what about the next Tom Lynch, which is Thomas Sims? had
Did
a
he
fucking
play?
ripper.
Yeah.
Debut?
200 centimetres debuted today. It looked very likely.
It actually makes me sick how many first rounders I have to get used to on this team. They all look the fucking same. Like he looks like the other one, the trainer. Luke
Oh, yeah, he
Traynor.
looks a bit like Trainer. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Pick 28, looked like he's going to be a gun potentially.
Now, Tom,
Yes.
congratulations to Richmond. We got problems here.
Yep.
It's 3/4 time. Brisbane are drawn with North Melbourne at fucking Ninja Creamy Stadium.
Yeah.
So we just have to leave it here and say, I can't believe what happens.
Well, I think there's only 5 minutes left in the game, isn't there?
There's 5 minutes left in the game.
So we could do Malacca and then come back
Okay,
and
guys.
then give a report on when we're up to.
Sweet Mary Joseph.
But right now, scores are level and 10-10 all as well.
And I said
Fantastic.
Brisbane would win by 47 points. And that makes me a Malacca. Malacca brought to you by Coca-Cola.
This has to be the round of all time. Like so many close results.
This is going to be another under 10 one.
Yeah, unless Brisbane just pile on a bunch here, but surely
Or
not,
North.
right?
Give
Yeah.
them their flowers, Tom.
Or
And
North
you know what
pile
it
on a
is?
bunch.
Nick Larkey came on the pod.
Yeah, he did.
Nick Larkey.
So I knew Tassie would be a big element, but I didn't think it would be 40, 50 point element. You know
So
what I mean?
that's a thing, like, because Tassie's desperate about put a roof on the stadium because it's windy and it's fucked and
Yeah.
da 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 da. But if you're the Tassie team, you could just go, this is how we win.
Yeah, just
we
let
have
it be.
it's just wind.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will be an awful existence, but
Just let it be. Learn how to play it better than anyone else and make it a fortress, just like Gold Coast and Darwin.
All right,
Anyways,
Malaccas.
Malaccas. Not too many this week, actually. Not a lot of feedback on the hotline. Obviously, people have put the Malaccas away in their pockets, but
they didn't engage with your content.
they did. But a lot of them were the same, and there wasn't as many as usual. I would say
Maybe there's less dramas this week.
maybe less dramas. So everyone was upset with this, and I didn't think it was great. And I hate to call out one particular fan base, but the booing of Connor Rosie when he won the Showdown medal.
Was that Crows fans?
Yeah, well, I mean, assumedly, right. I don't think Port were booing their own player, but I guess maybe Adelaide people felt like we won the game. It should have been an Adelaide player, like.
Is it possible they were saying Boo Earns?
Yeah, potentially. Boo on a Rosie.
I was saying Boo Earns.
Boo on a Rosie, I reckon. But no, how Rosie was so good, and I feel like that's just poor taste.
I agree with you on the sportsmanship 100%, but that is Adelaide. That is a place of absolute feral fuckery.
We won the game. Phil Thorpe was the best.
Yeah, I know. And I blame Checkers, even though he was in Port DJing for Port.
Yeah, which is
I blame
so
your mate Checkers.
Say Phil Thorpe is the best 10 times fast.
Phil Thorpe is the best. 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 Oh,
That was good, though. That was very good. So, hey, we've gone around it a bit during this episode, but one thing I just wanted to highlight is that I think I now know what the worst feeling in football is, Broden.
Is it getting your dick stuck in a toaster?
No, even worse than that, which is winning the inside 50 count but losing the game.
Who did this?
The Swans lost the game and they won the inside 50 61-45. And it's happened to my team a lot. Your team.
This is all I was like, what are you talking about? That's called watching football if you go for Melbourne.
I think that's the worst feeling in footy because you've given your team more opportunities. You've won so much of the battle. You've defended well, but you can't kick a winning score. I think it's so brutal.
Yeah.
So I feel for the Swans.
Okay, good. That's a Malacca is inside 50s and not winning.
Maybe they should just poach like a massive forward from someone and Sydney will be good all of a sudden.
Did you know there were some people kind of saying maybe they should go after Ugo Hagen?
Yeah.
I think that's such a boat to stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he kicked 40 goals last year or whatever. He's obviously really, really good, but that's like, I don't think Ugo Hagen fixes Sydney.
Yeah, you might be right, but then I think 61 inside 50s. If he just clunks 4 or 5, then they beat Essendon,
At the best of times with Ugo Hagen, like some games are like, holy shit, who is this guy? But he's all about consistency. He's inconsistent, I think, still.
Yeah. I think he's still too young for a full forward that we never really saw the best of him. But we'll see. There's so much time has passed now and he's been out of the game for so long. I think Sydney should do it and just see how it goes because they're not going to draft one.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get him for cheap, but then Dogs will do a deal as well.
Yeah. Hey, so people, I don't know. This is just for you to comment on, I guess, Broden, because I don't necessarily agree with this, but overwhelmingly, people were very upset about the umpires not stopping the game when Lachie Schultz went down. What do you think they just stuffed up. No
What's
big
the
deal.
rule? I don't know the rule.
Either do I. If seems like if there's a really bad injury that might need a stretcher, you're supposed to stop the game, I think, so that the players aren't running around like someone lying on the ground.
And he was in the middle. If the ball went near him, they should have stopped it. I don't know.
And I think they did eventually, right? But it seemed like
he tried to run
Darcy
off.
Moore, even after the game, said he was really upset that they didn't stop the game to see if Lockie got off safely.
Yeah.
So potentially, if they stopped the game, maybe he would have been stretchered instead of walked off and stuff. Potentially.
I think what happens is that you're supposed to stop the game when it's in the vicinity of an injured player, but the AFL came out and said that the umpires didn't see Schultz was injured.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I buy that when they've got communication in the ears from the arc, which we've seen evidence of before, and he's on the ground like quite literally doing the fencing motion, which concussed people do when they're not.
Yeah, the fencing motion. That's the big hand in the air thing I was talking about.
That doesn't pass
really
the pub
unsettling,
test. You're
wasn't
right.
it?
Yeah. I think it's interesting that Darcy Moore was so pointed about it, and a lot of people have jumped on it and said, yep, I'm upset about that too.
He's the head of the Players Association.
Yeah.
He's the guy now.
So he knows stuff.
He
So
says shit.
That's the three Malakas. Who do you give it to?
I give it two inside 50s because it is the bane of my existence. I'll just give everyone a little bit of context for where we're sitting right now
Okay,
as this
great,
game
okay.
comes in. There's 35 seconds left.
Yeah.
The scores are tied. It's 71. North are running inside 50. They've
Shanked the kick outside.
71. There's 29 seconds left. It looks as if there's going to be a draw.
Yeah.
Between the best team and one of the worst teams. And what's the point of difference, guys? Nick Larkey came on this podcast.
And it's in Tassie.
But
mostly Nick Larkey.
And that
Would
too.
you say next score wins, you could say?
Next score wins. Cherry gets it out of the ruck.
LDU
North.
balls it to Finbar.
Oh, in the back! That's in the back.
Friend of the pod, Finbar, is it? No, it wasn't. It was Zohar.
Holy shit, folks. I mean, if you're a North fan, this is extremely a win. If you are 71 all,
A draw would be fantastic after the round we've had so far. Ashcroft gets it out. Who's going to clunk one? Oh, that big guy Hipwood almost clunks one. Caleb Daniel tries to kick it inside 50.
It's a draw.
Shanks it.
It's a draw.
It's a draw. It's got to be a draw. The greatest draw of all time between 18th and 1st.
what a great round we've had.
What a fantastic... And just the icing on the top out in the full. And they're all Devo, and there's no song plays. Hipwood is Devo. No song plays. Parker's Devo. Everyone's Devo. It's cold and it's windy in Tassie. There's no Virgin Flights out.
Yeah, then Jack Rewald's texting him.
Everyone's Devo.
What are you going to say, Pad?
I was going to say, should we play the draw song?
What's the draw song?
Hang on, I'll play it. I'll find it to you. I'm just going to.
They usually say ain't no... They always play... Yep, hit it.
No, I've got an ad.
Oh, he's got an ad.
got
Get
an ad.
premium, Paddy.
I'm sorry.
Get Primo.
I think this is...
I've never heard this.
Who made it? Who made this?
This is the Barrackville Singers.
Oh, yeah.
That's fun. I think this gets the Suva of the week as well.
Yeah.
Because North get the Suva.
Yes, North get the
What were
suit.
the other suggestions?
Tom Brown tackle, all the close games, Hogan and Jamie Elliott for kicking 6 and 7 apiece.
Yeah, that's all positive things, but I'm going to give it to North. They look
Wow.
very upset now, but that is you got your flowers situation.
So that puts Collingwood and Hawthorn above Brisbane on the ladder as well.
Whoa! Collingwood, who you both believe shouldn't even show up.
Yeah, and North is now above West Coast as well. So that is a lot of fun. We love a draw.
Do you know who's
And
happy
who
about
has North Melbourne's first round pick this year? Richmond.
Richmond, that's
Jesus.
right. Oh, God.
Do you know who? But that was not relevant, Paddy, because you just want.
I just want to win, man.
Shut up, man. Collingwood on top of the ladder. Do you know who likes this?
Who?
Channel 7, Fox
Yeah.
Footy, SEN, Triple M. They all love this. Congratulations to them.
Even Hawthorn up there as well. They all love that.
And you know who wins? Footy. I don't know why. A great week of footy. Have a great week. Bounce back.